this gentleman asked me, what was that meeting all about? I said, Toastmasters. Then he asked, where do you come from? I said, Ghana, West Africa. Are you happy here? My response, really? Africa is a terrible place to live in. I said, that is what you think. There are people in Africa who live better lives than some people in the United States. Oh, there must be the 2% as we have in America. I said, that's the point. Africa also, we have our 2% wealthy people. A few days after, I attended another event. Oh my goodness. Where do you come from? Ghana, West Africa. Oh, I'd love to go on a safari. Why does everyone think Africa is a jungle for safaris? Ghana cannot boast of safaris. I have never seen a lion, a tiger, or a giraffe before. The only ones I've seen are the ones that you see behind me. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I do not deny the fact that Africa is the poorest and least developed country in the world. But I believe in every bad situation, you can still find something good. Just like in every good and beautiful situation, like the land of America, the promised land, you can find something as bad as 36,000 homeless people on the streets of Los Angeles. This evening, my goal is to persuade you that there are beautiful, unique things in Africa that you should know about. I'm going to talk about 3 things. Africa is blessed with talented people. Africa has a spirit of contentment. Africa has a spirit of compassion. I start with talented people. Now that I live in the US, when I arrive in Ghana, I'm amazed at how people are able to turn seemingly worthless things into precious things. I'll cite some examples. One is shea butter. Very precious material. You see the tree, it looks worthless, but our women process it into this precious product that is used in cosmetics all over the world. 95% is from Ghana. The second is the black soap. This is the traditional black soap, exported all over the world now. Now they have modernized it by making it into a bar. And for convenience, for people like you, they made it into a liquid soap. But I tell you what, this is the real thing. When I go to some schools and the ladies say, oh, acne, I have acne worrying me, I said, try black soap. They come back and they say, Miss V, it works. I said, it works. Horace was right when he said, adversity has a way of eliciting talents that would otherwise have lain hidden under prosperous circumstances. That is Africa for you. Talk about contentment, and I love to talk about that. I met this American student in Ghana who was on this program, a semester abroad. I said, what are your impressions about Ghana? He said, amazing. You go to the villages, they don't have 1/10 what Americans have. Yet they look content. Some even don't have indoor plumbing in their homes. Yet they are content. And an American friend of mine who lived in Ghana said, you know what I observed? Africans have very little, but they have a mindset of abundance. And therefore they are content with the little they have. And again, now that I live in America and I go home, I notice it. Especially Sundays. There are people standing by the roadside because they don't have cars of their own, or dressed in their Sunday best. I'm not talking about a jeans and t-shirt. Nice clothes, polished shoes. They don't have a car, they are waiting by the roadside. For vehicles, as one tourist described, haven't seen a screwdriver in years. And I sat in one of them. You know how they started the car, that particular one, they joined the wires, and then we are moving. When it started raining, they put a plastic sheet on the side. And yet these are people who arrive at church and they sing from the depth of their hearts, appreciating life. There's one song that brings tears to my eyes. Today, oh, I will lift up my voice in praise, for I know you are always there for me. Almighty God, you are my all in all. No matter what comes my way, I will praise your name. Wow. And then they go back to the roadside to wait for what? That vehicle that hasn't seen a screwdriver for years. Oh, and then during the week, I saw this woman selling roasted plantains and what we call granuts, you call peanuts, by the roadside. And she was dancing whilst grilling the plantain. I said, what? And I'm sure she doesn't make more than $10 a day. But she was content. And yet here in America, where I live, I wake up in the morning, I see people going to work, and I want to say hello to them, walking with their coffee in their hands. You know what I feel like telling them? Dude, you're in the United States of America, what's your problem? Immanuel Kant said, it is not our possessions that make us rich. It is what we are able to do with our possessions that make us rich. Talk about compassion. And what I'm going to share with you are the insights from my American friend who lived in Ghana and Malawi. She said what she noticed about Africa is that the life there is so fragile. We can't help to live independently. We depend on each other. Your problem is my problem. Your problem is my problem. And therefore, if your nephew cannot afford school fees, you pay for the school fees if you can afford it. Recently, we had to educate our son, just last week Sunday, about how funerals are held, because my husband has lost his brother-in-law. We have a family meeting, both close and extended families, to plan the funeral. And at that meeting, we pledge monies to cover expenses. And then the day of the funeral, you have people also giving money. Your classmates, people from church, people from your workplace, all contributing something to cover the expenses. What do we, and I'm part of you, what do we do in America, using my friend's own words? We drop off a cake and a casserole and leave the family to figure the rest out themselves. about taking care of the elderly. We take care of the elderly in our homes because we do not have nursing homes. I'm not against nursing homes. It's just that we don't have. And this friend was so impacted by what she saw when she returned to the United States. She decided to take care of her dad in her home. And she was so creative, the way we live, depending on each other, to involve the community. Today, Frank will take John for dinner. Tomorrow, a neighbor will stop by to chat with him. Anytime people visited Southern California, they'll stop by to see John. Last Sunday, I was moved by tears when she said, Vincentia, my dad lived a full life till his last breath. But here, life is so independent. When your car breaks down, there's AAA. When you are moving, you have a company that will move your stuff for you. In Ghana, when your car breaks down, there's no AAA. People would come and help to push your car. It's happened to me a couple of times. The starter wouldn't work. You know what they did? I was driving a ship then. They push you, and then when the car is developing some speed, you change to second, and then you are moving. From there on, wherever you stop on the slope. That's the trick. But here, we are able to do things because AAA is there, movers, name it. What happens? As you grow old, you've lived independent lives. Life becomes a bit lonely. America has to learn from us. Why? The Pew Research Center says every day 10,000 baby boys turn 65 years. It's going to get to a point the nursing homes will not be able to cope. We'll have to learn to take care of our elderly in our homes. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, Africa is poor. But if there's anything America can learn from us, it's a spirit of contentment and compassion. The animals you see here are a reflection of our beliefs and values. And I'll tell you why. Every day a gentleman called Yao wakes up, sits under a tree, takes a knife, and will shave off hay to form strands. He'll pick up a twine and then put the strands together to form a lion, a giraffe, and an elephant. He sells that to put food on his table. The process and the product teaches us a lot about life. And that is, talent cannot be squelched by the challenges of life. Patience produces something good and beautiful. Though the world may perceive the lives of others as dark as the eyes of this elephant, or deficient because they lack the resources we have, just as this elephant does not have a task. It is compassion serving as a twine that binds people of different socioeconomic backgrounds into a life of interdependency, therefore creating contentment. Fellow Toastmasters, it is compassion and contentment that makes us as Africans tower over our problems and challenges like a giraffe. And we feel proud and confident like the lions on the continent of Africa. if there's anything you should remember from this speech, it is this one thing. Some of the poorest people on this earth are the richest in soul and spirit. It's a Toastmaster.